Welcome to Heart of Philly. Today we're at the Philadelphia Flower Show and the theme is brilliant, and it really is a brilliant theme. This is a British inspired theme this year, so there are beautiful things to see from the Queen herself too. There are beautiful rose gardens and so many things to see to get an idea for your own garden at home too. So follow us today and we will show you what to see here at the Philadelphia Flower Show. Drew Becker, and you are?
I am the president of the Pennsylvania Horticulture Society.
So this was perfect timing, Drew.
It was perfect timing.
Tell me about this year, and this is beautiful. Everything and everyone I have met today, they're just overwhelmed at just how the beauty.
I think one of the coolest things, I got some of the best job in the world. I mean, everything we do is we bring beauty to people, you know, and that's what we do, and I'm glad to hear that people like it. The show theme this year is brilliant, celebrating everything British. So you will see just an enormous amount of cool plants that are actually usable right here in the Mid-Atlantic region, which is really great. We have people from all over the country that come and visit the flower show, and we're celebrating our 184th flower show, and it's 185 years of PHS.
I can't believe it. That's amazing. That's really incredible.
Yeah, we are the oldest, largest horticulture society in the country. This is the flower show is one of the top events in the whole country. It's like number 7. The number 1 annual attended event in the country is like the Texas Rodeo.
I think I'd rather be here at the flower show.
Ditto on that.
Here today.
Yes, it is.
At the Philadelphia Flower Show.
Yes.
Is this the first time you've worked at the Flower Show?
This is our second year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. How many people have you seen coming through here? What is the feeling
Thousands.
here today?
Thousands. It has to be at least thousands.
Yes.
And we've only been here since 12 o'clock when it opened up for the general public. So.
And today's the first day.
Yes, it is.
Today's the first day. And tell me the feeling that you have with the people coming through here, the way you're seeing.
Everybody is so friendly. Everybody is so excited to see Big Ben. Everybody wants to see Big Ben.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Steve.
And
Hello.
where are you from, Steve?
Camden, New Jersey.
Okay, have you been to the flower show before?
We have. We've been about 5 or 6 times.
So what are you expecting to see today?
Just lots of beautiful flowers and displays and creativity. Just the creativity of the people who have built the displays is phenomenal.
Isn't it amazing the work that goes into this every year?
It's really it. It really is. Even this clock behind in front of us, it's incredible. I mean,
Big Ben is going off every hour on the
every
hour.
We saw him go off a little bit ago. We saw the Beatles and all of the other people in the show. So
Very
good.
Well, you have a nice time
All right,
and have a
thank you.
great day. Enjoy the show, okay?
Thank you very much.
and I'm from Massachusetts.
And you are?
Michelle from Philadelphia.
Okay, and you guys are friends, sisters,
Yes,
related?
friends.
No, best
Friends.
friends. Okay. Is this your first time here?
No, it's my second time. I came back in 2003, I believe, and it was beautiful, and I wanted to come back and see what the show looked like this time.
And what do you think so far?
It's wonderful.
It's amazing, isn't
I
it?
have
Tell
lots
me
of
some
good
of the things
ideas.
that are your favorite things that you've seen.
I like the formal gardens, but I also like kind of the English garden look. So I'm going to take some ideas back home and see if I can replicate them in my garden.
And what is your favorite thing today?
I really love this because I think it's like a great mix of sort of high fashion and horticultural.
It's beautiful.
I don't know whoever created it. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's like, interesting how it's not just flowers. It's really been intertwined with other things. And
It's a little taste of everything,
Yeah.
right? A little British taste of everything,
I
right?
love London, so it's also
Yes.
now it's cool to have that theme.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
And what is your name?
I'm Trevor Edwards.
Trevor Edwards.
Yeah.
And tell me about,
The stand.
yes.
Well, this is the Tourism Ireland stand, and I'm very pleased to have been the designer of the garden. And the whole thing revolves around the fact that Derry, London Derry, is the first ever UK city of culture. So it's very important, and it fits into the whole theme of Britain and Brilliant Britain, in that this is the first ever city of culture. So what I've done here is to try and symbolise what's happening in the city, in that it's one of the oldest and most intact walled cities in all of Europe. And you can still to this day walk around the 2 miles of walls. So I've created a walled city here.
You've created the wall city.
Yeah.
And you're excited to be here, aren't you?
I love it. Yes, I think this is about my 4th or 5th time at the Philly Flower Show. It's
Okay.
the first time I've designed it. This one is, in my opinion, hyper interesting because of the connection with Ireland and Philadelphia. In 1780, a young man left Ireland and he came to live in Philadelphia. And he developed a business in seeds and in a nursery in Germantown Road. He became a great friend of Thomas Jefferson, your president at the time. Jefferson and he became very friendly, and he was a mentor to Jefferson in everything gardening. Jefferson introduced him to Lewis and Clark, who were the plant explorers. And he was one of the 2 nurseries that were appointed to grow on the seeds and the roots of everything they found. Some years later, he was honoured by Thomas Nuttall, and Thomas Nuttall named this plant Mahonia, and the young man's name was Bernard McMahon. So they took the Mahon and put Mahonia. So that is named after an Irishman who came to Philadelphia.
That is a great story.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank
My
you
great
once
pleasure.
again.
I love Philly.
Yes, we do too. Hi, how are you?
I'm good,
I
thank
just
you.
stole this lady's crown, like right off her head, literally, right off her head.
Good job it's not real
I
then.
know. Oh, I just wanted to feel like the queen for the day here at the flower show. Tell me, what is your name and
My
where are
name's
you from?
Patricia Patrick, and I come from Toronto, Canada.
Tell me about this, what you've done here today also.
Well, what we wanted to do is represent in floral art the crown jewels of London. There are, I believe, probably 12 of us from the Northeast chapter of the American Institute of Floral Designers.
Okay, now I'm going to give you your crown back.
All right.
And we're going to walk around and she's going to show us. She's going to show us what she's done. And I want you to tell me about this right here.
All right.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you a little bit more about everything.
Okay. It's beautiful.
Each little segment is to represent a semi-precious or a precious jewel. I was given pink tourmaline, which are those colors there. But the scepter that I wanted to make had to be gold and white because it's the sceptre of Scotland. We had to do a floral part of this, so the piece at the top was actually Scottish granite, which is a grey-white colour. So the carnations are to represent that granite.
And tell me about this piece in the center, the throne.
No, it had to be red, and it had to be roses, because
the rose.
The rose is
and
the
the
symbol,
royal
is the royal flower.
Oh,
it is the royal
okay.
flower, and it had to be red. So represents the ruby jewel,
Okay.
and then the red rose of England.
This is beautiful.
Isn't it
This is
fabulous?
beautiful.
Yes. This young man,
my
very
goodness.
talented young man from Pennsylvania, he was given the diamond to represent. So the framework that he had made is like the cut of a diamond, as you see, and the orchids are just a symbol of complete luxury.
This is beautiful. Oh my goodness.
Now, to be honest with you, I don't know this gentleman well, but he's from New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
And he did the king's mantle, which is the cloak.
And what type of flowers are used in
Well,
this?
he has roses, which have been dyed,
Okay.
carnations that have been dyed, and then blue jewels and a white chrysanthemum just to show the fur
That's
that would go
so
on that
beautiful.
color. It is lovely.
Oh, this is called Royal Amethyst? This is beautiful. And tell me a little bit about this one. This is gorgeous. Amazing designers
The round
here.
ball is very significant because it's the orb that the Queen would carry at special events with the scepter and or the orb. So that is symbolic.
What do you think about the flower show this year in all the beautiful designs and work that you have seen today?
It's
even?
not really a fair question because I was
Sorry.
born in Britain, so it is extremely exciting for me. Last year we did Hawaii, and that was exciting too, but this one has a special
This
significance.
is close to home.
Yes,
this
it
is
is.
right to the heart,
It really
isn't
is.
it?
Yeah, and when Big Ben spins around, it's very moving.
It's just,
Yeah.
it brings you home.
It does
brings you
indeed.
right back to England,
It
right?
does indeed.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
What is your name?
Jean Cook?
And are you from Philadelphia?
Well, around the suburbs.
Okay. And you're working here at the show and watering the ferns and the plants, and I love the tulips.
Aren't they gorgeous?
They're my favorite. And how often do you have to tend to everything and water them? And
Well, these have already been watered today. We
Okay.
try to water them every day in the morning before the show opens. But certain plants just need to be checked a little bit, like the ferns and some of those stuffed forms. And I'm going around and just checking them in the afternoon after they've been in the lights.
That's what I was just going to say, the bright lights that would kind of absorb or
They
dry
dry
them up a little faster.
bit. But we're
Okay.
going to come by tomorrow at 6, and we're going to water again, my team and I, Thomas Hawkins.
And have you done the flower show before? Have you worked here
Yes, I've
before?
worked here for years.
Oh, okay.
I've worked myself up to a position where now I work to help all the entrants enter the horticulture classes, get them staged by the stagers, and they have to have them correctly marked. And I'm just to oversee them and to find problems and troubleshoot.
Can you tell me a little bit about that, the Horticultural Society?
Well, there's a really deep tradition in Philadelphia of horticulture,
Right.
and there are many societies. There's a Cactus and Succulent Society. There used to be a Bulb Forcing Society. There's fern societies. They're all around the flower show. And they keep the interest going, and their members have the most beautiful plants. So I always tell the people who are in the show that you make the show.
Right.
Because they all do it for free. They're volunteers, and they do beautiful work.
I've heard this year that this is one of the best years. That's what I'm hearing from the
I
people.
hear that every year, but
I know.
it's particularly good.
I have met people from Canada. I've met people from all over, and it's just incredible. It's incredible. You bring it right all here to Philadelphia.
Yeah, this is the largest horticultural competition that goes on in this country. And we drag in people from all over, and Philadelphia should be really proud that close to 300,000 people come to Center City during this week to see, just absolute beauty. We all love cheesesteaks, and we love our Phillies, and we love the Eagles, but in Philadelphia, we also love flowers, and that's a really great thing.
Hello everyone, welcome to Heart of Philly, and today we are with my English mum. How's that?
That's very good,
Jan,
very good.
This is Jan Lancaster, and she's a very dear, close friend of mine, and like a mum to me, right?
Exactly, yes, and it's spelled M-U-M.
M-U-M, and Jan is from England, and because recently, just last week, we were at the Philadelphia Flower Show, and this is something that is near and dear to Jan's heart, because she is from England, and flowers and gardening, that's a big part of her life too.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk about, you were just at the flower show yesterday.
Yes, I was.
And
I went yesterday.
Do you go every year to the flower show?
I don't go every year, but of course this year
This is the
I
big
had
one.
to go because the theme was England, the United Kingdom, and the flower show, I don't know if you realize, is the harbinger of spring in this area. I personally get really excited because I think about my garden and all the flowers that I want to plant or grow, and I start thinking about pruning my roses, and then I have to go to the flower show because I have to see what the latest thing is that's going. So I love this time of year.
You mentioned to me before that there are several types of gardens, the formal and the country garden. Tell me the difference between the two and what you saw at the flower show.
All right, the formal gardens, the type of gardens you might see at Downton Abbey on the television, or the royal palaces, they're very formal. They're cut lawns, and they have flower beds around them, and topiary gardens and things like that. The country gardens are the more wild gardens. You saw several of those probably yourself when you were at the flower show, where you have all sorts of flowers, and there's masses of flowers, and there's roses growing around trellises like we have here.
In your gardens, there are like little plots, like you have a little area. This is where the rose garden will be right over here. Okay, let's walk over.
Yes, okay. This is my rose garden, and if you see it right now, it doesn't look very special. And in a couple of weeks, I'll be pruning those and pruning them right back down. They'll be pruned.
How far to cut it back?
Right back down here. They'll be cut.
Okay, so you cut this back, and then it come. When does it come into bloom?
When you cut it back, you think that you've killed everything because it doesn't look like there's much left. But by May, there's flowers.
That's amazing.
Full bloom of flowers. And then here, like, I have my herb garden, which all looks very dead.
Now, I have to say something. I've known Jan for many years, and I always wondered why she said herb instead of herb. Is that an English thing too?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is
how we say
herb,
it.
Herbie.
It's got an H in herbs.
I know, but we don't do that. Americans say
well,
herb.
no, there's a lot of American things Americans don't do.
So explain to us now what you do with your herbs.
Well, some of these are dead. Like this is rosemary, and that lasts all the year round. And all of these that's going to be mint and parsley, rosemary, and I plant fresh ones too. And herbs are always best if they're fresh picked. I will pick my herbs in the morning, and that's the best time when there's the juices are in there, and I will use them for cooking. I use those. Over here,
Okay, let's take a walk over.
all right, it really doesn't look like anything, does
It will though. We'll come back and we will show what it looks like when everything's in bloom.
This whole bed is what they would call a herbaceous border. And that means that there's masses of all different things. I've got a lot of work to do here because I've got to cut all this back and take all the dead stuff out. I try to have a lot of perennials because now at my advancing age, I'm trying to cut back on a lot of the work.
Yeah.
But I do plant annuals. in between to
Just to give
fill in gaps and,
color,
and give
add a
in
little more.
colours and things. Yeah.
That's very interesting, Jen. Thank you.
Oh, you're
We're gonna take a tour now into the house, and we're gonna hear a little bit more about the different English tradition with tea, and we're gonna see a few more things too that maybe you didn't see at the flower show. And we're gonna find it right here in Jan's home, the heart of Philly, nowhere else. What is this, Jen? Is this a pillow? Let me take this out. What is this?
No, my dear, it is not a pillow. It's a tea cozy.
Oh, a tea cozy.
Surely you know what a tea cozy is, right?
No, I know, but you tell our viewers what a tea cozy.
I'll
because
tell your
I know from you that Americans we don't make tea the way the English do.
No, you
We
don't.
just don't.
I never.
And I don't think I ever saw one of these until I met you.
Okay.
so what is a tea cozy?
A tea cozy is a little cozy. Looks like a hat, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is a crown one. That when you make a cup of tea, and it's all nice and hot in the pot, you put the tea cozy over the teapot.
It's a hat on the pot.
It's not a hat, it's a tea cozy.
And that'll keep it warmer
That'll keep it warm,
longer
so
until
that
the
it's-
flavor seeps through.
Well, it'll just keep it warm because an English person does not like cold tea. Not like the Americans.
No iced
When I
tea?
first came to America,
No iced tea?
they offered me iced tea.
You don't like iced
No,
tea?
no,
Okay.
no. We throw it out when it gets cold
Oh,
in England.
you never drink iced tea in the
Well,
summer?
I do sometimes.
Oh, okay.
But I've lived in
But the
America a long
traditional
time.
is English tea with a tea cozy.
Yeah, because hot tea was from in India when the Raj and the Queen ruled India. They had a lot of military people there, and the theory is that if you drank hot tea, because there was no air conditioning and things like that, if you drank hot tea, you would perspire, and then the perspiration would dry, and that would cool you.
Oh, no air conditioning then.
No, not back then. Not
Okay.
in India. So, you know, hot tea is the tradition in
Okay.
England, and I always drink hot tea.
I know
in
your tea is
middle
very
of summer.
good
Yeah,
too.
middle of
And
summer.
now you have tell us about this teapot. This is
Well,
a
this
special
teapot is
teapot.
a teapot that was produced last year. Remember all the celebrations you saw on the television about the Queen's Jubilee?
Yes.
And this was the teapot that was produced in honour of that. So a friend brought this over from England for me.
Oh,
And this
very
here
nice.
is a little plate.
Ooh, is this from England?
This
too?
is from England, and this was
Prince William.
and Kate's wedding
Very nice.
plate.
Now, when Kate and Prince William, have the baby, are you going to have a little dish here?
I hope so. Yeah.
So let's see some. I know you have quite a collection of teapots, and this is something that is very special to you. So let's
right.
see what you have.
All right, I'll show you some of them. For every season of the year, I have a turkey teapot. I have a bunny teapot.
There's
over here.
Oh wow!
This is the Easter teapot.
And do you collect your teapots from?
People bring them back
They bring
from
them to
England.
you,
Some
or-
of these I've had for years.
Okay.
This is my Christmas pudding or plum pudding teapot.
So are all of these from England?
Oh yes.
wow.
The majority of them are. And this
What is
you
that?
won't have heard of this one. It's called Marmite.
Is that a jam?
No, it's not a jam. It's very savoury, and a lot of American people don't like it because it's sort of salty and yeasty.
What is
And
it
you put
used
it on
for?
your toast.
Oh, okay.
You do toast and butter, and you put a thin layer of this on there, and you raise children with this.
Now, in England, this is what they have for breakfast at times?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Very traditional. This is.
Oh, is that a
That-
sewing machine teapot?
This-
Oh, I love that.
This
That's
is
so
very
cute.
meaningful for me, Yeah, my mother was a seamstress for the royal dressmaker Norman Hartnell in London when she was young. She used to make clothes for the royalty. So another relative found this to remind me of my mother. She had a Singer sewing machine that looked, this is not a Singer, but it looked like that. So this is very
That looks
unusual.
heavy, could I just
Yeah.
say? No, it's not as heavy as it looks.
But it's a teapot.
Yeah.
I've never used it
Oh, that's
to
so
put tea in.
beautiful,
But,
though.
yeah.
Here, I'll give it back to you. I don't want to
And then I've got a St. Patrick's Day teapot, and I've got Christmas teapots, and you name it.
Okay, now we're going to go back and we're going to have a spot of tea. And what type of tea do you enjoy the most? Or do you try different flavors?
Well-
I mean, is that something Americans do?
Well, the traditional is a black tea.
Mhm.
You know,
Okay.
And there's different kinds. I drink English breakfast tea. That's what I use.
Does that
That's
have a
quite
stronger
strong.
flavor?
It's quite strong, yeah. In England, tea solves all problems. You know, if you have somebody come to your door, one of your family, and they're
Like me.
tears, tears, like you have
all
been,
these years, all
Yeah,
the tears.
that's right.
Right, and the tea always helped.
we
It
say,
always did.
let's have a cup of tea.
Right, and it always did.
Yeah, and then
And-
if somebody
yeah.
came and said, oh, I just got engaged or I'm going to get married, you say, oh, come on in, let's have a cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
We have cups of tea to solve the world's problems.
To solve the problems and to celebrate.
That's
too,
right, yeah,
right?
that's right.
So we're going to have a spot of tea right
A
now.
spot of tea
Go
right
back
now.
to the garden and have
Okay.
some tea.
All right.
So now we're going to have a little bit of tea, but first I just wanted you to talk a little bit about the traditional tea china.
Well, if you really want a nice cup of tea, of course you've got to make it correctly first, with boiling water and all that sort of thing. And the best china to drink tea out of, in my opinion, and in many people's opinion, is bone china. And this is Royal Albert bone china. Yeah. That supposedly, to my understanding, gives you the best flavour because it's not too heavy, the china. If you really want to be traditional and really want to do it right, you need a cup and you need a saucer. There's a whole point for a saucer because if you stop it or spill it, it's not going to go on your table.
I know there's one thing that you mentioned before when you make a pot of tea. How long does the tea bag sit in
Well, of
and
course,
steep?
if you're making a
How
good
long?
cup of tea, you wouldn't use a tea bag.
Oh, okay.
You'd use loose tea, but I use a tea bag. Because
Okay.
That's the modern way to do it. Because you remember, in the old days, well, you may not remember, they used to read the tea leaves.
I was
Have
just
you
gonna
heard
say
about
that, yes.
Yeah. And if you've got a tea bag, you don't get any tea leaves.
Ah.
So the tea leaves would be in the bottom of the cup, and they would tip it out, and there would be somebody who would read your
Read your tea
future
leaves.
on the tea leaves. But to make a good cup of tea, you need to put the water in the pot and boil it. And at the point that that water boils, that's when you pour it on your tea leaves. You can't let it boil for 5 minutes and then use it. Well, you can, but it spoils the flavour of your tea. So 4 minutes is about the maximum that you steep it in. Then you take your tea
And then
bag
you get
out
the
and
full flavor of the tea.
you get the full flavour. I love you, heart of Philly. Now let's have a nice cup of tea.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers. Be careful, my bone china.
We love you, heart of Philly.
We love you, Heart of Philly.
I love you, Heart of Philly.
I love you, heart of Philly.
I love you, heart of Philly.